to you all. Allow me this morning to welcome you all to the official launch of the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the National Assembly election to be held here in the Republic of Mauritius on the 10th of November 2024. Allow me to recognize Honorable Muhammad Chande Othman, former Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania, who is the head of the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the National Assembly elections in the Republic of Mauritius. Allow me also to recognize the Director of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Affairs at the SADC Secretariat, Professor Kula Ishmael Tedetsane. Your Excellencies, allow me also to recognize all senior government officials present this morning. Let me also recognize distinguished members of the Troika of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Corporation. These are representatives from the Republic of Malawi, which is the incoming chairperson of the organ, Zambia, which is the outgoing chairperson of the organ, and our current chair of the organ, the United Republic of Tanzania. Let me also recognize all senior officials from member states who are present here. Allow me to recognize also heads of diplomatic institutions and diplomatic missions here in the Republic of Mauritius, members of the SADC Electoral Advisory Council who are here this morning, representatives of political parties who are attending this launch this morning, members of the civil society organizations and religious institutions here in Mauritius, colleagues from the SADC Secretariat, and all observers who have been attending the 4-day meeting which ended yesterday, colleagues from the media, our fourth estate, welcome once again. My name is Innocent Mvundura. I'm the Communications and Relations Officer at the SADC Secretariat. And this morning I'm honored to direct the proceedings of this launch. Our program is short and it's going to be as follows. In a moment, we are going to have remarks by the Director of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Affairs, Professor Kula Ishmael Tedetsane, representing the SADC Executive Secretary, His Excellency Mr. Elias Mahos. After that, we're going to have the official launch statement by the head of mission, the Honorable Muhammad Chande Othman, who is the former Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania. At the end of those remarks, we're going to offer opportunity to colleagues from the media and also stakeholders present here to have a question and answer session where you're going to be provided with an opportunity to ask questions on a clarification or any clarification on anything that has been said pertaining to this launch. Without taking much of your time, allow me at this juncture to invite the Director of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Affairs at the SADC Secretariat, Professor Tedetsane, to deliver his welcome remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. Honorable Mohammed Chande Othman, the former Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania and Head of Mission of SEOM Mauritius, distinguished members of SADC Organ Troika, distinguished representatives of the Government of the Republic of Mauritius, commissioners and representatives of the Mauritius Electoral Commission, the Electoral Boundaries Commission, and the Electoral Supervisory Commission, the electoral management bodies, distinguished representatives of international electoral observation missions, Your Excellencies, heads and representatives of the diplomatic missions accredited to the Republic of Mauritius, members of the SADC Electoral Advisory Council, the SADC election observers, religious leaders and members of the civil society, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of His Excellency Elias Makhosi, the SADC Executive Secretary, I am pleased to welcome you to the official launch of the SADC Electoral Observation Mission SEOM to the National Assembly elections of the Republic of Mauritius. This SADC mission is mandated through Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, in her capacity as the chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. I'm also honored to present to you the Honorable Mohamed Chande Othman, former Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania, who has been appointed by Her Excellency President Hassan as the head of mission for SEOM Mauritius. In line with the SEOM mandate, the SADC Secretariat is tasked to facilitate the implementation of its observation mission, including the training of the observers and deployment logistics. As such, today's event will see the head of mission launch SEOM Mauritius, followed by the official sending off of all our observers. The SEOM to the Republic of Mauritius is complemented by the full SADC organ troika, whose members originating from the United Republic of Tanzania and the republics of Malawi and Zambia, which provide the necessary support to the head of mission. The mission is further assisted by members of the SADC Electoral Advisory Council, namely retired Justice Ford Abdallah Twaib and Madame Eloyd Mtanzinda SIAC, members representing the United Republic of Tanzania and the Democratic Republic of Congo, respectively. Distinguished guests and excellencies, the deployment of SADC Electoral Observation Mission across the Southern African region is effected to assess the country's adherence to the revised SADC principles and guidelines governing the democratic elections that was revised in 2021. And these principles and guidelines were adopted by all SADC member states as an instrumental tool in support of democracy and good governance in the region. The SEOM achieves its aim by gathering the views and other relevant information through meetings with stakeholders at the head of mission and troika level, as well as by on-the-ground observations on the ongoing pre-election phase and the polling day, as well as the post-election period, where the mission leadership will receive information emanating from our observers' interaction with various stakeholders in the district where they will be deployed in Mauritius. To this end, we wish to thank all stakeholders and the general Mauritian population beforehand for welcoming and engaging with our observers for the duration of their deployment. Excellencies, distinguished guests, it is now my singular honor to welcome Honorable Mohamed Chande Othman, the former Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania and head of mission of SEOM Mauritius, to deliver his statement and officially launch the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the Republic's 10th November 2024 National Assembly elections. Thank you.
Distinguished members of the SADC organ troika, distinguished representative of the government of the Republic of Mauritius, Professor Kula Telesane, Director of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Affairs, and representing also here in Mauritius, the SADC Executive Secretary, Honorable Elias Makhosi, commissioners, representative members of the Electoral Management Body, distinguished representatives of International Electoral Observation Mission, Your Excellencies, heads and representatives of diplomatic missions accredited to the Republic of Mauritius, members of the SADC Electoral Advisory Council, SEAC, SADC election observers, representatives of local election observers, religious leaders, members of civil society, organization, the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, bonjour. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of Her Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and Chairperson of the SADC organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, to this official launch of the SADC Electoral Observation Mission, in short form SEOM, to the Republic of Mauritius. In the same vein, I wish to seize this opportunity to sincerely thank the government of the Republic of Mauritius and through its Electoral Commission for extending an invitation to SADC to observe the National Assembly elections scheduled for 11th of November 2024. As I speak, we just concluded the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the Republic of Botswana, as we are gearing up for another mission to the Republic of Namibia, set to commence a few days to come. By the end of this year, the SADC region would have gone through elections in 7 member states, involving a combined total population of almost 130 million citizens. It is indeed a hectic electoral calendar, demanding funding, time and human resources. And at this juncture, allow me again to express our gratitude to all SADC members for facilitating the deployment of our SEOM observers by providing resources and observers for this purpose. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, SADC observes election in member states based on the revised SADC principles and guidelines governing democratic elections 2021, to which all SADC members affirmed commitment to its implementation. The principles and guidelines provide an objective and scientific methodology for observing elections in order to contribute to the consolidation of democracy in our region. They are also informed by key African Union instruments, such as the African Charter on Democracy, Election and Governance of 2007 and relevant United Nations Convention. Our current mission in the Republic of Mauritius commenced its work on 28th of October 2024. According to SADC norms, election observation is a lengthy and comprehensive process that engages with member states in 3 phases: pre-election, election, and post-election. Consistent with the revised SADC principles and guidelines governing democratic election, the deployment of this SEOM was preceded by a pre-election assessment goodwill mission of the SADC Advisory Council, SEAC, from 26th of August to 5th of September 2024, and in which many stakeholders, including those present here, welcomed them. Given the prevailing peace in Mauritius, the SADC pre-election assessment goodwill mission concluded that the Republic of Mauritius is prepared to hold the National Assembly election as scheduled. The SEOM will issue our preliminary assessment or statement on the 12th of November 2024 at 11 a.m. at this very venue, an event to all of you are invited in advance. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the SEOM noted that the Constitution of the Republic of Mauritius and a set of relevant laws governing the election is in line with these national legal instruments that the SADC Electoral Observation Mission will assess the conduct of the election against a set of central principles stipulated in the revised SADC principle and guidelines governing democratic elections. I reiterate very briefly some of the 9 key principles. 1 is full participation of citizens in the democratic and the development process, enjoyment of fundamental rights and fundamental freedoms, such as of assembly, association, and expression, observation of the provisions of relevant legal instruments and frameworks concerning the date or period of election, measures to prevent corruption, bribery, favoritism, political violence, intimidation, and intolerance, equal opportunity for all political parties to access the state media, as well as access to information by all citizens, respect for values of electoral justice, such as integrity, impartiality, and fairness, no undue restraints against the opportunity to exercise the right to vote or be voted, independence of the judiciary, and impartiality of the electoral institution, capacity and empowerment of citizens through civic and voter education, acceptance of and respect for the electoral result by candidates and political parties as proclaimed to have been free, fair, transparent, credible, and peaceful by the competent and independent Electoral Commission following the law of the land. And finally, provision of electoral justice through expedited settlement of electoral disputes as provided by the law in Mauritius. Distinguished gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, it is essential that all stakeholders understand that the SEOM mandate is to determine the adherence of member states holding elections to the provisions of the SADC principles and guidelines governing democratic election. In this respect, please allow me to go a little bit in detail and for the benefit of all, some of these principles which are key. So to fulfill our mandate during our mission, our assessment and evaluation will consider the following. 1, whether the legal and constitutional framework guarantees freedom of expression, assembly and association, and human rights. Secondly, the structure and the model of the electoral system, the electoral management body, the Electoral Act and regulations, and the nature of civil and political rights, as well as economic, social, and cultural rights. Thirdly, the establishment, processes of appointment and retention of members of the electoral management bodies in order to assess, in addition to assessing the composition, status, independence, impartiality, professionalism, and preparedness of the electoral management bodies for the election. Fourthly, the SEOM shall ensure that the delimitation of electoral boundaries was done in a manner acceptable to stakeholders, and whether the factors that prompted the elimination were in accordance with the law of the land. Fifthly, whether the delimitation exercise and process was undertaken in accordance with the national law and without undue exclusion of any particular group or political interest. Sixthly, the procedure for the nomination and provision of reasonable timeframes to allow political parties and candidates to comply with the requirement of the registration process. Seventhly, whether there is a code of conduct governing all political parties and candidates. Eighthly, the neutrality of the security forces in providing election security and the existence of requisite special voting facility for security forces to enable them to cast their votes. 9, the requirement and practices regarding direct and indirect access to the media, mass media, for political parties, candidates, supporters, and the general public. 10th is the requirement and the practices concerning reporting by state-controlled public and private media about political parties, candidates, and supporters or opponents. 11, the capacity and quality of civic and voter education programs to afford all prospective voters accurate, comprehensive, and adequate information upon which to make electoral choices, the extent to which the process enjoys the trust of the electorate, including inclusiveness, accuracy, and transparency, and whether the electorate are able to own and identify with the electoral process. 13th, the appropriateness of locations of polling stations and the adequacy and accessibility of these facilities. Fourthly, the production and distribution to polling stations and storage of ballots and other sensitive electoral material. 15th is the conduct of voting, including assistance to voters, counting, tabulation, and announcement of results, the transparency of procedures, and adequacy of safeguard against inaccuracies. And 16th, the conduct of procedures and processes concerning electoral complaints and challenges by citizens, prospective voters, and those seeking election, including providing effective remedies for violations of electoral related rights. This is a tall order of about 16 issues, 16 subjects that this electoral observation mission will be undertaking during this period. So to attain objectives, an impartial basis from which to draw finding, the SEOM necessarily requires to consult a broad, diverse, and unrestricted range of stakeholders in each member state holding elections. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to inform you that the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the 2024 National Assembly election in Mauritius consists of 73 personnel with 35 deployable observers. They are from 8 SADC member states, namely the Republic of Botswana, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, the Kingdom of Eswatini, and the United Republic of Tanzania. The observers have, as mentioned earlier, have gone through a 4-day training session from 1st and 4th November to be informed particularly of the Mauritian context relative to the election. Our observers will be deployed in the 10 administrative districts of Mauritius, namely Black River, Falk, Grand Port, Mocha, Pamplemousse, Plan William, Port Louis, Rivière du Rempart, Savane, and Rodriguez. The SEOM observers will focus on the pre-election, election, and post-election periods, which includes the campaigns, the voting day, the process of counting of the ballots, announcement of the results, and the post-election environment. We also initiated stakeholders' engagement in earnest since our arrival in Port Louis to appreciate the political, legal, and security situation in the context of this forthcoming election. SADC urges all registered voters to exercise their civic and political rights by turning up to cast their votes and elect leaders of their choices on 11th November 2024. We also encourage all stakeholders to ensure that these elections are conducted in a peaceful, free, fair, transparent, and credible atmosphere. We look forward to an electoral process that adheres to democratic values and principles envisioned in the SADC Treaty, the Protocol on Politics, Defense, and Security Cooperation, as well as the revised SADC Principles and Guidelines governing democratic elections of 2021. In closing, I would like to once again take this opportunity to invite you all to attend the release of our preliminary statement regarding our mission's observation of the election on 12th of November 2024 at 11 a.m. at this very venue. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor on behalf of the chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, Her Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to declare the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the 2024 national elections in the Republic of Mauritius officially launched. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Muhammad Chad Otma, the head of the SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the national elections in the Republic of Mauritius. Thank you very much for your statement. At this juncture, we are now going into the question and answer session, where we are going to give an opportunity to colleagues from the media and also stakeholders who are present here this morning to ask questions or seek clarification. And these questions should be based on the statement that the head of mission has delivered this morning. So the questions and the areas of clarification only pertain to the statement that the head of mission has delivered. And the head of mission is going to be assisted by, as you see, the director of the organ, SEAC members, and also members of the SADC Troika. So we're going to go like this. If you have got a question, you raise your hand, and then you mention the organization or the media house that you're representing, and then you ask a question. We're going to have a round of 3 questions at first, if there are any questions, and then we're going to have another round if there will be further questions. Thank you. Any question to the head of mission? I see a hand. Do we have another? Please proceed. Introduce yourself and then pose the question.
Jean-Claude, welcome, Maurice Info. The first question is to the head of mission. Sorry.
Oh, hold on.
And
Thank you. This is Sandy from the Launch SEOM Corporation. My question is on the head of mission. You said earlier in your speech that the observers will interact with the stakeholders during their mission. I'd like to know specifically what is their assignment on the field, how do they conduct their field, their assessment, and with whom will they interact during the campaign and during the polling meeting.
Head of mission, I don't know whether you got that. Okay, I see another hand. Please proceed.
Hello, I'm Kamesh from Bloomberg News. So the mission is here since the 28th of October, if I got it right. So just wanted to know whether there's been meetings with the political parties who are engaged with the elections, and whether there's an initial assessment that the head of mission would be happy to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Head of Mission, we have got 3 questions on the floor. Maybe that should be the first round, and if there will be any further questions, we're going to give an opportunity for the second round. I hand over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for 3 questions. First of all, the election observation mission, as I said, will cover 10 administrative districts, but also it means that they will also cover all the constituencies in Mauritius, 20 constituencies in Mauritius plus the constituencies in the Mauritius Island. So the totality of the constituencies will be covered by electoral observers from SADC in teams of 2 to 3 member states. As I said, there will be 8 member states. The 8 member states, a total of 34 observers. Those observers, we have divided them already. In fact, after this launch, they will be starting to be deployed. And as I said, it is pre-election, election day, and the day after, which is in Mauritius, the counting day. They will be there throughout this process, reporting simultaneously and directly on a daily basis through the SADC electoral mission headquarters based here. Country will be covered. The functions of the electoral observers are clearly outlined in the SADC principles. They are not interfering in the electoral process. They are basically observing the conduct of the election, the opening of the polls, where the polling stations they open at time, when the register, they will have a look at the registration. You understand in Mauritius, we understand that there are about 14,000 or so voters whose constituency has changed, and they will have received notices, and so on. So all the electoral processes are taking place at the polling station. They will observe also the counting and so on and so forth. But these are clearly demarcated areas. Definitely not interfering in the process, observing, analysis, and looking at the facts. This is why this training, also, although most of them have done electoral observation mission, but the Mauritian context is important, and I can ask our director of organ also to add in case there is some. Yes, we will engage stakeholders from the election. I think this is very, very important. Political parties, the National Assembly, the 3 electoral management bodies, the electoral commissioner, the electoral supervisory commission, plus the demarcation authority, civil society organization, the media, academia, religious leaders, and so on. We will be engaging with these stakeholders throughout the process. As I said earlier, that the decision to deploy SADC observation mission was informed by the SEAC, Electoral Advisory Council of SADC, which members are here, who came to Mauritius between the 28th of August and 5th of September this year to make an assessment of the goodwill mission, the invitation and cooperation of the government of Mauritius. And they met a lot of stakeholders, almost 15 group of stakeholders during the period. And they made a number of findings. One of their findings, and this is what our exercise is to get an update, that Mauritius had the necessary political and security environment conducive to the holding of peaceful elections. Secondly, they remarked that the Mauritians had a lot of confidence in their electoral management bodies. Thirdly, of course, they noted the total number of registered voters, almost 98% of the total number of eligible voters, which I say in Africa is remarkable. That you have in a country 98% total registered voters against the total number of eligible voters. This is some of the preliminary findings that they had. There are a number of smaller issues. Not issues, but there are issues. I think and one, Mauritius, of course, it is for the Mauritian to decide, is the low number of gender representation in Mauritius. And I think this is something political parties and others take on board in terms of the process. But their conclusion, I think this is what will inspire the President of the Tanzania this observation is that the Republic of Mauritius is not prepared for the National Assembly election as announced. These are three, but again, as I said, functions our electoral observers is intensive orientation with the participation also as resource person. The authorities in Mauritius with them on the environment here, really appraised of the environment before going out there one the areas where
Thank you very much, the head of mission. I don't know if there is any other for the last time. Do we have another question? Okay.
Up to now, are you happy with the process at the level of the Electoral Commission for the registration of parties, nomination days, printing of bulletins, as we say in Mauritius? Are you happy with it?
Okay. Let's get the last two, if there are any other, so that we close the question and answer session. Do you have another question? Okay, that's the last one. Over to you, head of mission.
Thank you very much. This is a very pertinent question, but unfortunately it's a little bit too early. I think on the 12th, some part of it would be in our syllabus. This is why for us these few days are very, very important, because we're meeting those who are really involved in the process. Only their view, but we have also analyzed facts, the law, and so on. And in fact, we'll be meeting later on today with the electoral body, and we have a series of discussion on very, very specific topics related to some of the issues that we have faced.
Thank you very much, head of mission. Thank you, all members of the diplomatic corps, representatives of government, and all the institution colleagues from the media, SADC observers present, members of CI, and members of the Troika. This marks the end of the official launch of the SADC Electoral Observation Mission. We are going to meet again in the same room on the 12th of November 2024 for the release of the preliminary statement.